Gress.
Good morning. Thank you all. We are here at the Architectural Review Board of Palo Alto's Thursday, August 15th meeting. We'd like to start by having roll call.
Chair Rosenberg,
Present.
Vice Chair Chen, present. Board Member Adcock,
Present.
Board Member Balte,
Present.
Board Member Hirsch.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is public comment. Members of the public may speak on any item not on the agenda. There's 3 minutes per speaker. If you have comments for an agendized item, you'll get a chance to speak that later. Is there any public comments today?
I have no request to speak.
Chamber does look pretty empty this morning, I will say. All right, next on the agenda changes, additions, and deletions.
No changes at this time.
Perfect, thank you. All right, then we'll dive right into, actually, do we want to just double check a couple of things on the upcoming schedule? There was 2 items that were added. Is that right, Jody? Oh, yes, sorry. We'll go into city official reports. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We do have the schedule on packet page 7. So just if anyone is going to be absent, please let us know. And then on packet page 8, we have the future agenda for September 5th. And you'll see 180 El Camino, the melt, the renovation of that tenant space is likely to be on the agenda next time. Also 3000 El Camino, which is the conversion of a movie theater to office space, that is likely to be on the agenda as well. As far as new pending projects, we have on packet page 12 at the bottom here, we do have 3400 El Camino Real, which is a builder's remedy housing project that would include 231 units and 192 hotel rooms. That has the formal application for that has come in. And so we will start to review that.
And may I ask, is that one that we've seen as a preliminary before?
Yes, yes, you've seen that before. Just as you've seen it as a SB 330, like you say, the preliminary.
Perfect, thank you.
And then for potential projects, packet page 14, we have 2300 Gang Road has recently come in as an SB 330. So again, just that preliminary stage. But they are looking to remove some office buildings and replace it with 159 townhomes. And so we're investigating that now. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, does any board member have any questions on anything? All right, let's dive right into the action items. So we've got number 2 on the action items list is a public hearing, quasi judicial. It's for 525 University and 530 Lytton. Recommendation on applicant's request for major architectural review approval for 2 master sign programs with sign exceptions at 2 locations. The project at 525 University includes 5 signs, 1 illuminated directory sign. I'm going to skip the types because we'll get into that. 1 illuminated canopy address sign, 1 illuminated wall address wall sign, 1 illuminated directional sign at parking entrance, and 1 illuminated directional sign parking monument. The project at 530 Lytton includes 4 signs. I will skip those. Oh, excuse me. No, I won't skip those. It includes 4 signs, 1 illuminated directory sign, 1 illuminated address wall sign, 1 illuminated directional sign at parking entrance, and 1 illuminated directional sign parking blade ID. Environmental assessment is that it's exempt from the provisions of California Environmental Quality Action in accordance with CEQA guidelines, section 15301 and 15311. Zoning district CD-C. Downtown commercial. For more information, contact the project planner, Emily Callis. And with that, I'll have Emily take it away. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Never mind. With that, I'll ask for disclosures.
I'll disclose that I visited the site yesterday.
I'll disclose the same item.
I'll disclose the same.
Yeah, I visited the site on Tuesday.
And I drove by the site this morning before coming here.
That is.
Okay, great. Good morning. My name is Emily Callis and I'm the project planner. I will note that the applicants are online on the Zoom just since there's no one in the chambers with us at the moment. This project was previously brought to the ARB on May 16th. It is for site-wide signage at 525 University and 530 Lytton, which is this block as shown on the map downtown. And some of the, there is a prior entitlement and building permit for landscape changes to the site. The ARB will be reviewing the 4 types of signs at each of the 2 addresses. This includes a directory sign, which is sign type A in the plan set, address wall sign type C, directional sign at the parking entrance type D, and then 525 University has a directional parking monument sign, which is that plan set's type E, and then 530 Lytton has a directional sign parking blade, which is that package's type E. This site plan shows the locations of the sign. These locations are the same as what was presented to the ARB with a couple of minor changes that I'll get into, but in general, they're in the same locations. The first sign type is the 525 University directory sign. What's shown on the left is what the ARB previously reviewed, as well as the existing sign to be removed. And then on the right is the revised sign in the current application package. And so the primary change, the ARB requested that this sign be lowered to account for its location on this raised concrete pad. And so the previous height as measured from the ground was 96 inches. And it is now 84 inches measured from the ground and 66.5 inches measured from the concrete base. Likewise, the sign for 530 Lytton on the other side of the block was revised. The prior sign was slightly closer to the sidewalk and slightly taller. And again, the measurements have been clarified to account for the way that the planter box changed from, how it was initially to how it is as a result of the previous landscape permit. In this change, the sign height is clarified to be 66 inches when measured from the total sign area and 84 inches when measured from the bottom of the planter. The applicant has requested for the ARB to consider measuring the sidewalk height from the height of the plaza rather than the sidewalk height in the public sidewalk. For the address wall sign type C, the top image is the original sign and the bottom is the revised sign. It has been reduced in size to 40.5 square feet in keeping with the ARB's recommendation for it to be 40 square feet. It was also clarified where it was being placed on the wall. Last meeting, there was some confusion about if it was exceeding the wall height, and it will not be. It'll be in the same height as the wall. Likewise, on the 530 Lytton side, this sign was reduced and its mounting was clarified. This shows the directional signs at parking entrance type D. These signs ARB did not have comments about, and the signs are the same as what was previously shown. So these are just the 2 signs. It's not a comparison. And then for sign type E, this is the parking monument sign on, I believe, Tasso Street. The size of the sign didn't change, but it was clarified to meet ARB's recommendation for it to be no taller than 11 feet measured at the sidewalk level, while also meeting the minimum requirement for minimum height for something projecting over the sidewalk. And in doing so, the height of the pole portion went from 83 inches to 71 inches. And then on the opposite side, again, the orientation and height of the blade sign mounting was clarified to also meet the 11-foot recommendation. So the recommended motion is for the Architectural Review Board to recommend approval of the project based on the findings and subject to conditions of approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I'd also like to note for my fellow board members, we do have the materials board up here. It's a little bit heavy, so we'll do our best to pass it around, but it's all here for everyone to see as well. Do we have any public comment on this project?
The applicants are on the Zoom
To
and
do
can
their
speak to
presentation
their
as well?
project.
Okay.
Hello, thanks, Emily. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for the presentation. Yeah, we took all of the board members' recommendations into consideration. Like Emily said, we're just asking for the one Lytton 530 Lytton freestanding sign to be measured from the plaza level as we moved it closer to that area. So that's kind of the one ask that we like to consider. And
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt, but do you mind also stating and spelling your name for the record, please?
oh yeah, my name is Dustin Pasalapi,
Thank you.
and I'm the sign designer and contractor on the project. And Emily, is there any way you can pull up page 25 of the Lytton set?
Yes, I just need a second to do so.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show the existing condition that was at the corner. It was at the corner of Lytton and Tasso. So there was a previous sign on that wall that projected. It was right next to the sidewalk. It projected, I believe, about 6 feet above the wall, which ended up to be 12. Yeah, the next page. Yeah. So it ends up to be 12 feet over, and you can kind of see how it's relative to the size of pedestrian walking by. And so this was the existing condition that was approved before. So we're kind of asking for a similar height, but to be pushed more into the courtyard. So it's not actually towering over as is not wanting in the last. So that's really just the only ask. Everything else was good.
Sorry, what was that?
All of the other recommendations were.
Okay. Thank you very much. Emily, do we have any public comment on this? And then we'll hold ARB comments until we've heard everything. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I have no public comments.
There's no raised hands, no speaker cards. Okay. All right, with that, we're going to close public comment on this agenda item and turn the comments and questions over to the board. Board members, if you have any comments or questions for staff or the applicant, now's the time. Peter?
I do, yes. Regarding 525 Lytton sign C, I believe the site situation is still different from what's shown in the drawings, and I'd like to clarify that. I just emailed a photo of that to the staff. Are we able to pull that up?
I have not received any
I sent it to
emails.
Jody because her
Okay.
email's in my system directly. I'm sorry. To my colleagues, there's one wall approximately 4 feet high directly along the sidewalk.
Mhm.
stepping back from that on top of that wall, perhaps a foot back, another foot higher is another piece of wall set in on the sides. I believe our intention is to have the sign match the height of the lower wall, the one adjacent to the sidewalk. But the drawing doesn't really clearly show that. The rendering does, but I believe the elevation I checked does not. I just want to be clear that that's the case.
Ah. Yeah, I can see on the hand-drawn elevation, it appears that that upper portion of concrete wall is sort of not shown, so.
Exactly.
Okay.
The record is stipulating the sign matches the height of the wall. I think it needs to be clear that it's the lower wall.
On page 14,
Correct.
there
Right.
is the rendering that
Yeah,
shows that.
That's effectively the sidewalk.
And then
However,
on-
that differs from elevation on page 15.
15, yep.
So I'm just being clear about it, that's all.
Great.
So should we check with the applicant? Is that really the intent or?
Now, would the applicant like to respond to the comment?
Yeah, I think it looks like we just left that upper projection off of the end elevation. I believe this was supplied by the architect, and I missed adding that projection above, but it is going to match the rendering as you see in page 14. It's matching that lower height of the wall closest to the side.
Right. And you can confirm that the dimensions match on page 15, that the 33 3/8 and the 32 inches is what's the intention of that wall that would match on page 14.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my gut when I was out there yesterday is that the wall's about 4 feet high. That'd be 40, 50 inches or so. When you add 33 and 30 something, that's 6 feet, 5 feet. It's more than I think is actually there.
Well, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm standing next to the wall in the page 14, and I'm 6 foot. With the helmet, it's 2 inches taller. So you can see it's about at my nose, which is about.
Point well made, yes. So perhaps it's higher than 4 feet. I'd like for the record that the top of the sign needs to be level with the top of the wall.
Apologies. Would the board members all agree that if it finally looks the way that it does on page 14, everyone's satisfied? Perfect. Thank you, Emily. David, like to ask some comments, questions as well?
I don't think your mic is on.
Okay. Are we shown an elevation of sign B that's going to be attached to the canopy that comes out from the front door?
The canopy sign is the address number for the building and not a part of the Architectural Review Board's purview.
No? Why not? It's a
Standard
significant piece.
addresses are reviewed by the fire department.
I'm bothered. Let me say I'm bothered by that because I doubt that they'll have exactly the same consideration that we might have.
David, would you mind clarifying which page you're on? So
Yeah,
that,
sure. Page 11 shows this section.
Page 11 of the 525 packet.
Mhm. And so I want to register.
Page 10 shows you the elevation.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to,
Can we be clear about that, staff? The public hearing title clearly says sign B, canopy address sign. I'm hearing you say that's not actually part of this review process?
We discussed it last time.
We discussed it at length last time. I don't see why we would want to go into this question. It's clearly shown here.
Right.
And I think it's here, David.
well, I think I have a right to my opinion on this. It's
Absolutely.
Part of the
What's yours?
graphics here. And I'd like to show an image. You know, you have the images, Veronica. Do you have those? Yeah, they're coming up.
Yeah, I think Veronica's looking right now. There we
Okay,
go.
so this is the front of the building. And this is looking from the inside on the left there, that's looking out at the canopy that projects out. It's a quite a beautiful, simple canopy with a glass that projects back, and the whatever water's collected is to a drain that's at the back side of it. And it's the T's project out. And that edge, the glass edge is quite nice. And it projects out, as you can see from the picture on the left, quite a distance out towards the front. So the only way you're really going to see this is sort of from the street, because it covers such a large piece of the plaza itself. I'm just really bothered by the idea of disturbing this entry feeling of it's been really well designed to contrast a bit with the concrete nature of the building. And that edge is a nice edge, and it's going to be disturbed by all what is put above it. Maybe you would go back to the image then of the front that shows with the graphics on it. Could you do that? And maybe Emily, if you can put it up, I don't know. So, I guess there's a certain requirement for the idea of showing an address on the building, but this piece is going to somehow project up, and it's really going to kind of disturb everything here. And the detail of it. When you look at this thing, it comes right through at the edge of the glass, and sits on top. I mean, I just wonder.
Can I ask a clarification on the design itself to the sign designer on this? Yeah, thank you. So it appears from detail on page 11 that it's sitting directly above one of these, the T's. Actually, if we could keep the picture up. Fantastic, thank you. Which, there are 5 of them, and from the elevation on page 10, it appears to be centered on the canopy. So which would be on the middle segment. And based on the elevation on page 10 there, it's missing that center beam, but I assume that is staying. And I guess the clarification question is, the picture versus the elevation drawing on page 10 don't seem to match. The canopy is not getting replaced, correct? This canopy is staying as is, and the sign is being added to the existing canopy. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And actually, if you want to zoom in a little bit onto that picture that you have, you can see the vertical tube sticking up from the center forward beam that the glass is actually cut around, and that sign is meant to sleeve down into that, and the wire will pass through under the canopy. So the upper right in the center, you can see that. So the canopy is how it's going to stay as.
Okay, so there are 5 then projections. I didn't count them.
Yeah, it looks like
and
there's
this is going to sit on the middle projection.
the end of the middle steel projection, not sitting on the glass. It's going to be cut. So there's the gaps between the glass, and this will go up between them from the steel center one.
And it appears the junction box and the conduit for this low volt wiring is already there in this picture.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I guess I'm a little less concerned, but it's hard to see what we're looking at there. What's shown is glass continuing out beyond. There's a line showing what appears to be glass that extends beyond the line of the edge of the T there by at least, I would say, at least a foot or two. Is that an actual line? Is that glass? Is that correct?
Are you speaking of, on page 11, yeah, it shows the glass project out, which is what you're seeing there.
And that's an accurate projection of the glass beyond the line of the end of the T?
That's correct.
Yeah, it appears to match your photo.
Let me see. Which photo?
The one on the screen, the photo that you took.
Oh,
So
I
the
see.
steel stops short and then the glass continues for what, roughly say another foot?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Probably about 14 inches.
Or
Thank you.
5, yeah. Okay, well, I guess, and the box of the letters, what does that look like? That's perforated or what? What is that? Is that shown in elevation?
So if you go to page 10, on detail 1, shows basically all the letters are foot mounted to a 1-inch tall rail that we can pass the wire through. It's right above that on page 2.
Okay. I'm going
It's a
to
little thin.
retract my comment, I think, in this case. They're
Scroll
all
up to page 10.
freestanding letters that sit on top of that. Is that correct?
That's right. If you look on page 10, there's a little bit better, cleaner detail. Top left. Yeah, there you go. So it'll have a 1-inch tall rail and they all sit freestanding there,
All
kind
right.
of float above the glass.
Okay, so they're really, then I can say that I might have misread that. Looks to me like a box when you look at it from the side, and then I think it would have been a kind of a clunky element. But if they're freestanding letters that sit on top of that bar, and there's air between them, right? They're not on a box.
Yeah.
That's right.
Each one is a freestanding letter, is that correct?
That's right. On a 1-inch rail,
Rail. It's sitting on top of a rail.
like a foot plate. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. And they're lit, they're all lit letters?
Face lit, and then the rail is so that we can mount the letters freestanding to it and pass the wires down through the rail, down through the tube, into the conduit and back into the building.
Uh-huh.
Power connection.
Page 12 has the lit up image. I think page 12 image is slightly misleading, which may have be the
Yes.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it looks like
Yeah.
it's on a solid backing.
Yeah, it does, yes. So
Okay.
if they're freestanding letters, I think I can accept the idea of it being just the number of the building. It won't be as disturbing as I thought. I thought it was a box, and I thought it would not be as attractive as it might be if it's backlit letters like this. What is the material of the face of the letters then? And how thick are they?
Yeah, if you go back, they're called edge lit face lit. So the face is protruding about a 1/2 inch out from the letter itself, and it.
And that material that you're showing us on your board here, it will light up from the back. Is that right? I mean, the bulb.
From within, so the face of the letter will
And the side of it will be lit, or just the front? No, I think
just the front, the sides and back will be opaque.
this. I'm sorry, the side and back will be.
The side and back will be opaque, like in the rendering on 12. We put it on a black background to kind of mimic the nighttime, so you'll read it just like that.
I see, but you're not really seeing the side. You're just looking at the illuminated portion there.
That's right.
It looks like there's, if I can understand this correctly, that there's sort of where I'm drawing, there's like a 1/2 of an inch thickness of light. So you're not only going to see the front sheet, you will see a little bit as it turns the corner. Is that correct?
Yes, slightly, but once it's glowing, it's really hard to
Exactly. Yeah.
basically looks. It's
They
hard to
are-
see that depth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. You know, I'll retract my objection, but I think that I want to keep my original objection, which was that that's something that we really should be looking at. It's an important graphic for the front of this building. And I sort of disagree that we should leave this up to the fire department to make a decision like this.
Well,
It
if you-
relates in its graphics to everything else that we're reviewing for the building.
If you get to retract your statement, so do I.
You do?
So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I was reading the building code so we could all be better informed. So Title 16.04 talks about addressing signage being 4 inches up to 12 inches. And so when it goes beyond the 12 inches, then it starts to be the peer review of the ARB.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. So we would normally review it then, is that right?
This one is 20 inches, so
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, okay. So happy to have raised the issue. I think we've clarified it and it's much better right now to accept it this way. I don't think it'll really disturb the look of the front of the canopy as I originally thought it might. But I do want to say something about the front of the building in general. And because it somehow affects the way you come into this building. If you went inside and take a look at what they're doing an excellent job of redoing the lobby and bringing it up to this century somehow, you know, not the brutalist era of its origination. It strikes me that the plaza itself needs something. It needs more than just the numbering and graphics on it. And it's a kind of an empty space. And so I have another illustration. You want to put that one up? Veronica, thanks. Go. There it is.
I would like to say I sincerely appreciate all of the dogs in this photo.
Yes, one of them is mine. He's sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 in from the end.
So I initially thought the numbers were too big and you persuaded me otherwise at our last hearing. And now you're showing even larger numbers.
Well, I'm thinking, yes, well, you know, I'm saying that this is a kind of an element on the front. And wouldn't it be nice if the owners did something a little more exciting at the front of their building? I thought they might do it with
I think,
images,
David,
but I
that ship
think
is
that-
sailed
What's that?
because I think the landscape design was already previously reviewed and now building permitted, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So is
Well,
it-
while we
I'm concerned.
appreciate the sentiment, it probably is at this point too late in the game.
Well,
Yeah.
it's probably too late, but so I'm throwing in an idea that maybe the owners are here and listening in on this and might consider some element on the face of this building, a piece of art or something that would be as strong as this concept is here for the front of the museum. You know, and I want to point out one that Peter would appreciate. It was in number 5 East 57th Street in Manhattan. And it was designed by somebody who Peter will remember, Ivan Chermayev. And it's just a number 5, a beautiful, heavy, really heavy red element on the sidewalk. And it sets off a pretty ordinary building, actually, except for the sweeping front of it. And is a nice element that would really be nice to have on the plaza here, something that above and beyond the graphics that are shown so far here, that might need some coordination with your graphic people, but could be done by an artist. So wouldn't it be nice if we had, as we do on so many projects, an art budget that allowed us to put something on this plaza and made it a little bit more of an interesting entry from different viewpoints.
As so often, David, a very good idea, way too late in the process,
I know.
to which none of us are taking seriously enough what
Uh-huh.
we're being given here.
Yeah.
Yep. And it
No.
is beyond the scope of what we are here to listen to today. So we
Okay.
will
Okay.
appreciate
you.
it, but
Thank you all for indulging me.
you had me with the dogs, so entertained it for a minute.
I should have known that.
All right. Are there any other questions about this project? Yingshi? Awesome. No. Peter stepped out for just a moment, so I'm going to stall here until he sits back down. There we go. Thank you, Peter. All right, with that. With that, does anyone want to provide a motion?
Motion to approve the project as submitted today, and I appreciate all of the hard work to listening to us. Thank you.
Second,
Okay, a motion has been proposed and seconded. Call for a vote.
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Bolte,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
Yes.
Vice Chair Chen,
yes.
Board Member Chair Rosenberg,
Yes,
motion carries 5-0.
thank you to the applicant for your time.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a series of approval of minutes, 4 sets of minutes. So this is going to take a minute. Just for clarification, we do have these 4 sets of minutes to approve. We'll have a, actually, excuse me, 5. And then after that is the ending of, we've got some questions, comments, announcements, and then adjournment, and there will be an ad hoc afterwards. So I just wanted to clarify that. So we've got to get through 5 sets of minutes at this time. Okay, starting with draft architectural review board minutes for April 4th, 2024. Does anyone have any comments or adjustments or changes?
Yes, on page 44, it's part of this one, isn't
On packet page 44?
it? Mm-hmm. The line at the bottom, it starts off with Mr. Kapuscinski. It says.
David, I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry, I'll talk here. The line up from the bottom up, Mr. Kapuscinski. You notice that line?
Yes.
Okay, so it says Elimination Engineering Society.
Oh, where?
I don't think it means elimination engineering.
Good catch. That was probably supposed to be illumination.
Yeah,
Yes,
actually,
illumination, right.
there are a lot of locations in this. I don't want to go through each one, but every time illumination is noted, it is spelled elimination. So I think that just needs to be
Like it's
find and
misspelled or
replace word search.
Yeah, okay, we'll look through
is
the
it spelled
documents.
as elimination?
Yes.
Okay, instead of illumination. So we'll do a
Illumination.
word search on that. Thank you, guys. That's a good catch.
I don't have any more on that.
Another similar word is every time we mention site, S-I-T-E, it is spelled S-I-G-H-T, also a very different meaning. So spell check would not catch that, but they're repeated several times.
Oh, yeah, on that same page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one from the top, same page, packet page 44, board member Adcock inquired if there was other site lighting that
Right.
needed to be
Yeah.
done.
Okay, yeah, that's, as we're reading this into the new transcription, that will be good for them to hear that site is usually S-I-T-E
Mhm.
for us. Thank
And,
you.
overarching question, this first meeting minutes reads differently than the other 4. Were they transcribed differently?
Yes, probably. We recently switched transcription services.
Okay. Then I will hold my comment about this first one if the system has changed, because there are sentences that go 5, 7 lines. I lose track of what it's trying to say in this first minutes, having to read the sentence over, like, what is it actually trying to say when it's like, 7 lines worth of one sentence? But the later ones don't read that way. So if that system has changed, then no comment on that one. Other minor corrections is, I mean, I don't know if we want to get into that much detail. There's several sentences that don't make any sense. Such as, I'll just give some examples and maybe just a quick review at a later time. Page 42. I think it's.
So if we approve these, though, these will be the official minutes. So this is really our last time to go through these.
Oh my gosh, do we really want to go through?
So maybe we need to bring these back is what I'm maybe hearing.
Maybe just this first one, if you would like if I can give you my markups.
That would be great. And if there's several of them, I'm also
Can you-
noticing on packet page
Could you just
47.
give one example of what you're referencing? I'd like to clarify that we're looking for really the intent of what we're saying,
Yeah.
not
Like for
Better perfect
instance,
transcription.
packet page 42, fourth line down, where it starts, the California Environmental Quality Act CEQA analysis was done. Like that sentence is so long, I can't figure out what it's trying to say.
I'm going to try and read it out loud, okay?
Okay.
The California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, analysis that was done for this project made from a mitigation measure Hydro 3D from a 2015 EIR on recycled water, which required the city to consider treatment options such as reverse osmosis that reduced salinity of recycled water that made the water reusable for irrigation of salt-sensitive species. In response to the mitigation, there's a point there where maybe this could get broken up into a little bit
Right.
more.
Yeah, a lot of semicolons could just be periods
Mhm.
and just start new sentences.
Yeah.
but honestly, folks.
But
this
does
is-
it convey the idea?
I mean, the information's there. This is not germane to what we're actually doing
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah, so
And why do we
that's
wanna
why I'm
burn
like, I don't
staff
want to
time on
bring
this?
it back and have to read it all over again.
I think we want to make sure that someone reading this 10 years from now would generally understand what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, even 10 years from now, you could read past the grammar if you needed to.
Yeah, so I think the two,
It could be quite accurate to how Claire was presenting this too. I mean, she does go on with a long string of.
Hey, you
important
leave
stuff.
Claire alone.
Well, she's reading, I mean, it seems, the information is there.
It is also one of those items where it's a lot of information and they're trying to explain an explanation because this isn't necessarily the
Right.
most intuitive subject matter at hand.
Right.
So I think there's a little bit of that in this one.
and yeah, I think just on packet page 50, there are two places where sheet numbers are noted like 4 zeros and 5, and further down L 3 zeros and 11. I did not have a chance to go back and look at the drawing set, but I don't think these number references are correct. So maybe just make a note to correct sheet numbering references.
Well, let me at this point ask this. Is this something that you want to bring back so that we can have like a formal review of it?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
I think it's just, approve with note to correct sheet numbers and illumination and site are the two major things. The rest of it is like,
Yeah, they-
it gets the point, like Peter is
Yeah.
saying, but
They spelled
and-
Mountain View as all one word, but it's not.
okay.
I'm sorry, but I even take exception to that. What you're asking is several hours of staff time because they have to actually dig up the drawings and really figure out what's going on. And I don't think that's a very effective use of our limited resources here.
I
When
agree.
When I read through this, I was quite pleased to find that I thought they captured very well the debate we had regarding the light temperature,
Mhm.
3,000 or 4,000. And
Yeah.
even it captured the flow through our meeting.
Yeah.
We had the applicant come up and speak, and that shifted again what we were saying. And that was
Yeah.
captured exceptionally well, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
not verbatim, but that was important. And I think that
Agreed.
will continue to be important going
Yeah.
forward as the city debates birds and lighting.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see the staff focus
Yeah,
on
I don't
that
want to
kind of
waste their
thing.
time and
Yeah.
definitely not, bring it back with corrections to waste everybody's time. Yeah, it's just like drawing references in these, I think is important if like 10 years down the road, somebody's reading these notes and looking at drawings.
What if this is
They don't
this
match
is a partial verbatim? What if they just said, board member Adcock referenced the plans?
That's
Instead of
fine
trying to
too.
get an exact number, that's much
That's
easier for
fine
them
too.
to change, and that's still accurate.
Yeah, structural plans instead of S number, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's,
Landscape plans, yeah.
okay.
And
I think
one-
the 4 items that you're talking about, I think, we'll do it quickly and not spend too much time, but I
Mhm.
think we can fix a lot of what you're talking about. So
I am going to add
Thank you.
one more because it is actually pertinent. Autobahn versus Audubon.
what page?
Packet page 52. And this is a running joke in my house. So this is one of those, every time I talk about the Audubon
Okay.
Society, my kids go
Oh.
Autobahn. So not the German freeway, but the birds,
Well,
please. And-
those were engineered, those were designed by the illumination engineers.
Well, I think that it's important. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about here. And just to have a confusion on that might be
Yeah.
problematic 10 years from now. They'll be like, why are we talking about freeways? We want to respect the fact that the people from the Audubon Society come in, they dedicate a lot of their time to speaking to us. We want to make sure we're giving
Yes,
them
we're
their
talking about birds, not
credit.
cars.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, I see that one as well.
Appreciate that.
Those are quick enough.
Okay, can we get a motion on these minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented with the comments that we've already made.
I'll second. Can we get a roll call or vote?
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Balte,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
Yes,
Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Chair Rosenberg,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
All right, we're going to move on to action item number 4, draft of architectural review board meeting minutes for April 18th, 2024. Any comments on this? And again, we're going to try and focus on comments that are related more towards content and intent than spelling, because we all know we do typos, so
Although spelling does sometimes change the intent.
it does.
I have one
Please.
on packet page 73. On the first sentence of the public comment, or actually second sentence, Carol Gilbert's comment. It says, she also mentioned maintaining the privacy of the Hamilton residents, suggested that space be confined to smaller seating areas. I believe she was talking about that rooftop space. So I think that's a big difference there. So I think we should note that as rooftop space, not ground space or anything.
So your proposed edit is that privacy of the Hamilton residents, and suggested that insert the word rooftop.
I believe so, I think, or roof terrace, something.
Okay. Space be confined to smaller seating areas. Okay. Anyone else on this one?
well,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask Board Member Chen a question, I guess. If I remember right on this project, you were quite concerned about the setback on Middlefield Road. And I see at the bottom of page 80 here, 3 sentences, 3 lines describing your position on that. Do you think that accurately captures what you said?
Oh, wait. You mean the last paragraph of page 80?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't go back to look at the drawings about the exact numbers, but I believe the general idea is what I mean.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. I remember thinking that you had quite a strong argument for that. And wanted to be sure that's in the notes.
I think I brought it up at several locations, like another one is on page 82. In the middle, also ask for the, wait. It's about the setbacks, it said which number would be appropriate. And
But is there someplace in here your rationale for wanting that? You had explained it had to do with the trees as you enter into Palo Alto, wanted to see a green environment.
well, yes or no, yeah, the landscape is one thing, but the setback.
Well, the
It's
setback
more-
gives space for
yeah.
the landscaping, as you
Yeah.
argued.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just checking that you're satisfied with this,
Mhm.
because this project in particular, I think this is still going to be an issue going forward, so it's important to get the notes.
Thanks for
correct.
checking.
No other comments? I can recommend approval as presented. move to recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
He motioned. Do you want a
Oh,
second?
Sorry. Yeah, second motion.
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Balte,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
Yes,
Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Chair Rosenberg.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Middle one, we're going to review action item number 5, the draft architectural review board meeting minutes for May 2nd, 2024. Any comments from the board on this one? This is actually the meeting minutes for the master signage we just reviewed. So
I just. This is also about the parklet design, and I wanted to be sure that it captures our motion regarding the use of pressure treated wood down in the bottom of these things. If I remember right, to my colleagues, we were willing to approve this, but we asked that the applicant have the option to use pressure treated wood framing to support a parklet. I'm not sure I see that in the notes here. Is it there? Well, yes, but I'm just looking for the motion. Because it says here the motion was moved to support the parklet design as presented. And I thought the motion was as presented with some of these modifications.
yeah, that's kind of, again, an important one.
What page are we on?
Packet page 118, in the second paragraph, it talks about how Board Member Balte and I were pushing back strongly that the pressure treated wood should be allowed. And Peter's comment is that it does not appear in the final comment. So it says Vice Chair Rosenberg moved to support the parklet design as presented and seconded by Board Member Adcock. I would like to double check that that's actually accurate. I thought that we had a stipulation in there that pressure treated wood should be allowed.
I'm quite positive we did. That's what we.
So you're talking about the motion itself?
Exactly. The motion
Okay.
itself is where we want to get a double check.
Okay, so we'll check the video.
Okay, so at this point is, because this is one that we need to go back and get a little research on and come back, should we move to bring this one back to the board?
You certainly could, yeah. I mean, otherwise I'll just go look at the video, but
I would think the
if
chair.
you want to be careful about the intent, then yeah, we could bring it back.
What would you say, Peter?
I was going to say, I assume the chair of the board could check this kind of thing without coming back to the full board.
Okay.
The board's intent.
You
I
give me
believe,
homework,
is-
Peter?
No, I'm just trying to keep it simple.
That sounds fair. Okay, perfect. So
So-
we'll, if you don't mind checking in with me, once that's been sort of verified, that would be great. And if there's any concern for it, we'll bring it back at that time. So on that note, I'm going to make a motion to approve these minutes with the asterisk that this final motion gets rechecked, and between Jody and myself, we'll review that and finalize. Do I have a second?
A second?
Thank you. Call for vote?
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Balte,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
yes,
Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Chair Rosenberg.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay,
So if I
guys.
may give Chair Rosenberg one more homework,
Please.
page 96. Sorry, I missed this, that I had this note earlier.
Oh, is
On
this for the
proposed
previous-
changes on page, page 96.
So this is the previous set of minutes?
Yeah. Item number 5, it says recommend and it says inaudible. So there's a recommendation text missing. That might be something that we could double check and
So now that that motion's already been passed for that set of minutes, is that something we can just add as a item for Jody, you and I to double check later?
I think, given that we voted on it, let's, it's a
Yeah,
little,
let's go
we
for
can
this
ignore
time.
it, but yeah.
I do feel that people could go back and rewatch the videos themselves should they need to. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. Agenda item, or excuse me, action item number 6, draft of architectural review board meeting minutes for May 16th, 2024. Do we have any comments? Okay, with that,
Hold on. Page 123, fourth paragraph from the bottom. Puts out there this statement about the building numbers that we discussed today.
yeah, excuse me, this was the set for today.
And it's not even clear where did that come from? I guess that's from Lanner Callas.
The 4th paragraph from the bottom, which reads, the ARB does not typically regulate building numbers because buildings are required to have numbers. So the 525 University Canopy address sign is in compliance.
And I think we've clarified that in the
Can that-
minutes that will happen today, so.
Can that just be struck from these records? Is that actually
I wouldn't
It's not-
strike it from the records if it was something that was discussed. I'd feel
this
uncomfortable
is not
with
a
that.
discussion. This is the beginning of the meeting and it's seeming to
These-
imply that somebody said this, but it's not clear who.
I think we just need a credit for who said it.
They are summary minutes. They're not verbatim minutes. And so we could leave that out.
That's okay. Okay. The intent is to strike that comment from the minutes.
Have your back. Okay,
Can we get a motion on these minutes?
move to approve the minutes as presented with the strike earlier talked about.
And David, you want to second this?
Sure, second.
Call for vote?
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Balte,
Yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
Yes,
Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Chair Rosenberg,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. All right, final set of minutes. Action item number 7, draft of architectural review board meeting minutes for June 6th, 2024. Do we have comments? I would like to, this is purely a vanity thing. My name is spelled wrong in this one. It's Rosenberg.
Where is that?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, actually, it's not in the front, it's not in the first, but the last couple pages, it's several times.
Do we have that right?
I know, it's right in the beginning. It's just not right at the end. It's purely a vanity thing, so it's not really
Where do we-
textual. It just- All right. Other than that, any comments? All right, I'll move to approve the minutes as written.
second,
Thank you, Peter. Can we get a call for vote?
Board Member Adcock,
Yes.
Board Member Balte,
yes,
Board Member Hirsch,
yes,
Vice Chair Chen,
Yes.
Chair Rosenberg,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
All right, I'd like to thank my board members for diligently reading through all of those meeting minutes. That was a lot. I'd like to thank Jody and the staff for getting all of that together. And I appreciate that it was put on a day where we sort of had a lighter load because we were able to do a significant catch up today. And thanks to everyone's hard work. So I appreciate that. Right now, we've got board member questions, comments, announcements, or future meetings and agendas. So I do have an announcement, is that last night I sat in on the PTC hearing for bird safety, glazing, and dark skies. I also accidentally sat in on the stream corridors, which was fascinating, and I definitely recommend that my fellow board members go back and listen to that segment. It was lengthy, but really very interesting on how they're going to be treating the future of stream corridors in Palo Alto. and what some of their intentions are. There's no motion, there's no sort of formality to it. But I would encourage everyone, if you got, I don't know, a free 2 hours to go back and listen to that. It was very, very interesting to sit in on. Additionally, with the bird glazing and bird safe glazing and the dark skies, there was public comment made. Shawnee Kleinhaus, thank you, who has spoken in front of us several times from the Audubon Society, and Dasha Leeds, who's from the Sierra Club, has also spoken in front of us several times. So both of them were there to speak last night, along with several others. They really sort of limited the discussion to public comment because it was very late at night at that point. They are going to come back. So in 2 weeks, so I'll be sitting in again, and I might have a little bit more of an update for you then. But really, it was just public comment at that time because they were just running so far behind schedule. So that's it. And I'll be reporting next time after we listen in on that one. Okay. Is there anything else?
Yes, I also attended the city council meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago, regarding the
Thank you.
NV cap, where they did approve it 6-1. Board member Koo opposed it. And I presented our position about the building heights. In the end, the council focused on 2 items. One was the height of the buildings in the NVXM zone, which is the buildings along El Camino. If you all recall, we had recommended a 65 height foot limitation, and for them to rely on the daylight plane as a means of limiting bulk. The Planning Commission recommended a 45-foot height limit. In the end, they settled for 55 feet. So it's 5 feet more than is currently allowed, but it's more than the 45 feet. They were, honestly, I thought they were concerned because state density bonus laws allow applicants to go considerably higher than that. And they wanted to keep the base at which they start at a lower amount. If it weren't for that, I think they would have gone with a higher height limit as we recommended.
Okay.
But they did listen to us, I felt, pretty carefully. The second issue was regarding parking.
Sorry, I want to jump in here before we move on really quick. You said that Councilmember Koo opposed. Did she speak as to why? Can you remember? And if you can't remember, I don't mean to pop quiz you. I just wanted to understand that better.
I don't want to represent her position. I don't.
It's fair enough.
I don't
Okay,
know
I'll
if
go
I can
listen
do
to
that very
I'll go
well.
listen to it myself. Thank
Yeah.
you.
The council was quite concerned that the NVCAP project basically eliminated all required parking in the entire zone. And they wanted much more understanding of why that was. And in the end voted to not allow that. Parking was going to be required where it would be necessary under the current code, only not required where the new state laws would not require it within half a mile of the transit station. And there was quite a bit of discussion about how you measure that distance, which portions of the project, which type of the project. It's the kind of thing we think about, but it's not directly our purview. I wasn't asked to comment on that.
Okay.
Lastly, they did increase the required setback along Park Avenue. This doesn't apply to the townhomes, which were already approved, but anything else, they required a 15-foot setback where we had been planning and everybody else had been assuming a smaller setback. And that was proposed by Council Member Burt, and it was approved. So it's now a 15-foot setback for any new development along Park Avenue.
With the exception of those townhouses that were already approved.
That's right. You can't change that. That was part of the development agreement.
Okay.
So I'm not sure we would have recommended that, but I wasn't asked for our opinion on it. We didn't really address that issue. Never crossed our minds, I think, to go in there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Peter, thank you for your time doing that. I know those council meetings can also be quite long, so I appreciate your time and efforts on that as well. All right. With that, anyone have anything else? We are adjourned. Thank you guys very much.